Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hi, welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. This is the show where we introduce you to your favorite author. We talk about his or her work, and we pair it with your favorite beverage. Today is going to be champagne. So we're excited to be back. If this is your first time, you're in for a treat. If you've been with us before, we welcome you back. But either way, we want you to share. So I'm back at Hill Prince Bar in Washington, D.C., owned by my friend Rock Harper, right here at 1337 H Street Northeast. So if you're in D.C., come on through, grab a beverage, and chances are you'll see Rock. He's here pretty often. So I'm excited today to talk about this amazing book that I read when I was on my plane trip to Paris. Did I say Paris? So while I was going to Paris, I was reading this book. And so this book is about sisterhood, it's about love, it's about legacy, and it is called Trust. So I want to introduce you to the author, Daines Reed.
Hi, it's so nice to be here. Nice to meet you. I'm glad you got a chance to read it.
I did get a chance to read it, but first, before we get into the book, and we don't do spoilers, so it was cute. I read on your one of the marketing things I got, the bookmark note card. It says on the side, give a review, don't do spoilers. We don't do spoilers here because we want people to read it. But I just want to say I love your marketing. I got the book. I got the tote bag that the book came in. Of course, I got the book, and the book is signed. And I got the t-shirt. So I am all decked out and ready to talk about your book. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, so let's talk about you first. Where did this author bug come from?
I've been a lifelong reader, and if you read a lot, eventually you start to think of ideas for stories. I have a creative imagination. I'm a dental hygienist by trade.
Okay.
And so during work, I meet so many people. I meet a lot of people, and I have a lot of downtime between patients where I think all the time. So I came up with an idea for a story and just decided to try writing it.
I was going to ask, is that where some of the stories come from clients sitting in the chair?
Sometimes. I think most is friends and family, and a lot is me. A lot of the characteristics are something that I've either experienced or something that I've thought about.
Okay, so I mentioned in the intro that Trust is about sisterhood. It's about some ladies who work in a hospital setting, and so they all have their own individual things going on. And they have to deal with their individual lives, but it shows how powerful we can be when we all come together. We hear a lot of times women just can't get along. So this book shows us so much more. So tell us, I can mention like one of the main characters is Ruth. So tell us a little bit how Ruth was developed or how she was born.
She was a combination women that I have known. I think in this circle of friends, there's a range of ages. Some of the friends are younger. Ruth is older. She's a grandmother. I've always been drawn to that motherly wisdom and confidence that you have when you're a mature woman and the strong faith. So I just took those characteristics that I have known and admired in women in my life, and I just rolled them up and created this character, somebody that we feel we can identify with.
Yeah, because the women, a lot of the women that were in the book, they are, we kind of went away for a minute.
I did. I'm back. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Some of the women in the book are very relatable, and they're our friends, they're our aunts, they're our neighbors. And so, it's just good to kind of see them, and it becomes relatable.
Right, right. Which is what I wanted. I wanted to make sure that every reader could see some part of herself in this story, or you would see someone that you know in this story.
Okay. So another adjective I used to describe the book was about love. It's, you know, love in different forms. These women came together, they loved each other, but it also dealt with their relationships with their husbands, significant others, children's mother, all things that women deal with, all aspects of our lives. So that was a real good part too, that you kind of brought in everything that we deal with.
Mm-hmm. I
So
wanted to do that because I wanted to show, our whole life, the full spectrum. We all have all these challenges, all these hats we wear all the time. Then you go to work and you try to leave all that at the door so you can focus on your job. And sometimes when all of those challenges become too heavy for you, then your work and your friends, they become like your solace, like your safe
yeah,
place. And
yeah, it seems like, especially for
mhm,
Ruth, the the
yes,
the hospital. I mean, she preferred to be there than home anyway, so
yes,
it was all
yeah,
good.
yeah.
And so
Things are in order at work and chaos was at home.
yes, and
Hmm.
so then the third thing I said, I think, because I forget what I said, was about legacy. And so this part that you wrote right at the very beginning of the book, you said, is the difference between poverty and prosperity anything more than a matter of trust? So
Yes.
can you elaborate on that just a little bit? Like, what did you mean?
Yeah, I enjoyed that play on words because trust can mean a lot of different things. But when you're talking about literally recreating or redirecting the legacy for your family, not just for yourself, but for children, um, that's not an easy process. You would
That's
have to
true.
trust the process. You would have to trust yourself. You would have to trust the people around you. You would have to trust your heirs to fulfill the vision that you have for them. You can't just say, I'm just going to set my kids up and my grandkids up to have a lot of money so they don't have to struggle like I did. Because if they don't know what to do with what you establish, how will that turn out? So you
Right.
have to trust that it's going to be carried out the way that you planned, and maybe not in your way, but at least, ultimately it's God's will. You want to make sure that whatever you lay out is going to play out, for the greater good. So that's a big trust.
And I like that you use a very popular book that's been out for a number of years that people use when they usually are ready to get their money right.
Hmm.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I can't think of the
Yes.
author right now, but these ladies, they came together and they read that in their book club, and then that kind of got them helped them on their path to move from poverty to
Hmm.
prosperity. And so they formed this. I can't say all that. It's so much more to the book other than just, them coming together and, they do that. I mean, it's really, it gets deep into how, what was going on at home and how they had to use this inner strength along with the sisterhood to bring them through. So, I just think it was a powerful read, and I encourage our folks to read it. So we're going to salute you because our wine expert today I think she's been on the show before. I can't remember. We've been doing this for 3 years, but this person is a very uh, active part back in the day of Wine Crawl. And I am honored to have her on the show today to talk about her new baby, Love Champagne, Miss Samantha Dockery.
Hey, Bonita.
Hey,
Hey, Daines,
Sam.
how are you?
So you've been with us before, right?
I
You've
have,
been
I have. It was for wine
awesome.
crawl, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought you
Mhm.
have. So we're
Like,
excited to have you back.
yeah, it was
So
during
tell us.
COVID.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So So what are you doing? What are you doing over there? Look, back in the day, we were just drinking the champagne. Now what we doing?
Well, I'm excited that I've launched Love Love Champagne. I launched it May of this year, and it's been going great. Let me show y'all the bottle. I have it right here.
Let's see.
Love Love.
Congratulations, first of
Thank
all.
you.
Oh, I love that blue.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. So for those who don't, let me be gentle with it, right? For those who don't know, my background was wedding planning, and I did that for 13 years. And then in 2017, I just was riding the car one day, and I just was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I was listening to Joel Osteen, and he was talking about generational blessings, not just wealth, right? But what are you doing, and what are you doing now that you may or may not reap from, right? And so I just realized I listened to that message that wedding planning was very self-serving because I am truly a lover of love, right? So even as you guys were just discussing the book and the ladies, I was like, I can see them at Galentine's, right? All together, loving on each other. So I just saw that as you guys were talking about the book. And I just wanted to do something that would still be allow me to be a part of people's wedding celebrations without being there physically. And then two, also something that would allow me to have a greater impact on the world and really change people's lives. So the mission of Love Love is to be the champagne and sparkling wine of wedding related celebrations, right? But the vision is to change the lives of 1 million women who are experiencing domestic violence. Because as much as we love, love shouldn't hurt. And so that's what the company is about. As much as I love clink clink and cheers, it's okay, whose lives are we changing? And so we want to bring domestic peace so that people understand that this is what love is supposed to feel like. So this is my latest baby.
I
Definitely
love it. I mean, I
yeah.
love that story and how it connects to that. And Daines' book has some domestic violence themes that kind of go through it as well. So it's kind of perfect, because I didn't know your story, Sam, about your champagne when I put y'all together. So see how the universe brings everybody together.
It's perfect. Always perfect.
So we have a lot of folks, Sam, as you know, who want to get into the beverage industry, specifically wine or spirits. Tell our viewers just a little bit about your process. Because they think it's just, go stick your label on the bottle, and it's just not that simple.
It's really not. It really boils down to, especially in the US, they have what they call the 3-tier system of alcohol, right? So you have to determine if you want to be an importer and distributor or if you want to be a retailer. And for me, because I knew I wanted my own brand, that meant for me, I had to find a winemaker that was going to be willing to work with me, because I can't call myself a producer because I don't own the vineyards, right? It's his wine. And he's trusting me with my brand, right, to represent his wines. And so, that's the first part, is finding a reputable supplier that you can go to make sure that your product is going to be available to you. Their wine is going to be available to you, right? That's the first piece. The second piece is definitely what I call the legalese of the government saying, in the 5th grade, I saw that you hit Johnny in the eye and you went to detention. Tell me about that. You know what I mean? They want to know everything before they give you a liquor license, right? So you have to do that at the federal level. Then you get down to the states. And there's a song that says, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. No, it's Chicago.
Oh, I think it's Virginia, but we'll battle that out later.
I thought it was North Carolina.
Then you got to get your state license. And I'm like, the feds already checked me though. What else y'all looking for?
The state is worse. I think they're much worse than the feds.
I'm like, yes, for sure, because they really, have the control of how alcohol is run in their state. So, I think people can get bogged down in the legal part of it. And then also it costs a lot of money. That's just straight up facts, right? It costs a lot of money that you're either putting in yourself or you have to raise the money, right? Because until you establish a relationship with your winemaker where they're trusting you and they're seeing your sales, they want their money up front. And you're
Absolutely.
talking tens of thousands and thousands of dollars. And I would say for people who are interested in getting into foreign imports, which was what I'm doing, right? Because my product, it is champagne from Champagne, France. When people ask me that, I'm like, I know y'all out here drinking this
Whatever.
Prosecco.
Drinking whatever.
But it is actually champagne from Champagne, France, right? That I'm importing. And I am going to actually be doing a Prosecco. So we'll talk about that. So you're talking about product coming from France, product coming from Italy, product coming from California, right? And so you have to be prepared to understand all aspects of the business, not being in charge of them, right? Because I'm a firm believer in hiring people who are smarter than you, right? But understand that you're going to have a fractional CFO or a CFO. You're going to have a supply chain manager, even if you're domestic, right? So there are just all these pieces to getting into the business that, you know, you kind of learn along the way. You're not able to find a mentor, but with anything, it's persistence. And this is a God-given vision, right? So I always tell people he's not going to provide the vision and not the provision. So when things kind of start happening with me, I literally sometimes just close my laptop and I look up and I be like, you said this is what you wanted me to do, so you just let me know how this problem
is going to happen, right?
And I'm
he's going to make it
happen. You know, so that's what I would want people to know, is that you can do it, but it does take money, and it does take time, and that's just, you know, with anything.
With anything. So all champagne does not taste the same. So we want you to take us on a sensory experience of what we can expect from love.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So what I like to tell people is that, you know, it's a walk through the fields of flowers. People don't realize that when you taste champagne or wine, and Benita, I love your feedback on this, 80% of what you taste is what you smell. Right. So when you smell love, you're going to get like really fragrant white flowers. You're going to get that honey. My winemaker ages his wine for 36 months. So you're going to get that honey, that Granny Smith crispness. People always say my wine is very crisp. And then you're going to get that buttery brioche. So it's just a real journey in of like, this is really comfortable. It's really comfortable. It's floral. It's fresh. You can drink it literally all day. That was one of my criteria. You have to be able to drink it all day. It has to pair well with food, and it has to make great cocktails. So you're getting a wine that you can do a lot with.
Now, see, I don't let people make cocktails with my good champagne. You go get something down the corner if you're going to be mixing it up.
I agree.
So I was in Paris. I got back a week ago today, and I'm gonna tell you, I enjoyed champagne every day because it was so inexpensive. Like the things that, you know, we spend a lot of money for here, you know, because they didn't have to export it anywhere. You know, they just came from down the street, you know, from Champagne, a couple hours over to Paris. I mean, it was just it was really good, and it even tastes a little different. I guess, you know, no bottle shock. It just drive on down the street. So I really enjoyed it. So I want folks to know that here October 27th is Global Champagne Day, and a lot of folks around the wine crawl scene and everywhere, I'm sure around the world, are going to be doing champagne events. But we ain't worried about them, because right here in Washington D.C. at Hill Prince Bar, Wine Crawl DC will be doing Global Champagne Day, and the featured champagne will be Love. So people want to taste it, they should make it over here on October 27th, and the information will be up on the winecrawl.wine site within the next week, where you can get tickets. But it's going to be amazing. We're going to have food by my friend, celebrity chef Rock Harper, who's the owner of this venue. So it's going to be so cool. So what have you seen as some challenges since you've been in the business?
Absolutely. The number one challenge is the fact that I am self-distribution, right? Because unless you're just frankly a big name, right? Or you're coming in with a lot of supply, huge marketing, when you start out, you're going to be self-distribution for the most part. And so what that means is that on top of being everything for your business, right? Owner, marketing, sales, you are also the person that's delivering.
Yeah. Now you got to go over there and hustle. It's like selling books out of your trunk.
Right. Okay. And then you're like trying to get new accounts, keep up with reorders and that sort of thing. So the challenge for me thus far has been logistics, right? And it's a good problem to have because people want the product.
Yeah.
And so then it's a matter of they place the order. Now I have to get it to them. It's also the matter of like you're one person and you're the one woman show. And so you're the person that's doing everything, but you have to be out here and talking to these people, getting new accounts. So you are your sales team. So yeah, I would say that that's the biggest challenge. And then once you get in the door, a lot of people want the product, but people want convenience, right?
Yeah.
So they want to support you, but they want to support you when it's not going to really disrupt them, right? They want to be able to go into whatever system that they already have that shows the 100 ones that they can choose from, be able to select love. And it's not like that, right? Because I'm not with a local or global distributor yet. So if you want my product, it's going to be a little inconvenient.
It's going to be a little bit, but it's worth it. I tell folks all the time, in 2014, I started the exclusive blacklist just for what you're talking about, because I wanted consumers to be introduced to these amazing products by Black people, people of color. And I wanted them to know that if I'm serving it at this event, because I made sure to serve beverages that could be purchased in Virginia, you can get it. So go and ask your retailer, your favorite restaurant, ask them over and over again until they think you're crazy because they've said no 8 times and you're asking for the 9th.
Right.
But that's the only way I think our brands are going to get out there and be a part of the mainstream, because we have to demand it and not just settle for the next best thing. So I appreciate you, and I'm going to do everything I can do so folks know what Love Champagne is. How can people order it and have it delivered, or is that possible right now?
It is possible. I recently partnered with Vino Shipper, which is an amazing third-party logistics company. Yay! And so I am able to ship to 35 states. California is coming soon to be able to ship there. So when you go to the website, pourlove.com. When you go there, it'll show you which states that I can actually ship to. So that's how you can order. In Chicago, I have my first retailer. It's Bottles Up in Lakeview. She's at 3164 North Broadway. You can go in there and talk to the owner, Melissa. She's a great supporter of women. She loves my cause. And so you can get your bottles of love at Bottles Up in Lakeview in Chicago.
Oh, perfect. So we'll definitely do that. We'll check you out. I appreciate you for being here. Daines fell off, so I'm going to encourage you. We do have where you can buy her books. So I'm going to encourage you to pick up Trust. And she has some other books out there that she's done. We didn't get to talk about those, so I apologize for that. So if there's authors out there and you'd like to be on Books and Bottles, please email us at info@grose.com. We'll talk to you, get that book, I'll read it, and you'll be right here on the show. We appreciate you for tuning in. Thanks, Sam, for being here. Pick up the champagne, pick up the book by Daines, and I'll see you next week on Books and Bottles. Cheers.
Cheers.
Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.